So, hello and welcome everyone to another Distance Learning live event. I'm here with Alex Papadakis. Hello, Alex.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, lovely having you here. And we will be discussing the making of the Mythomachus TTRPG. So, first of all, let me introduce myself. I am Konstantinos Dimopoulos. I am a game urbanist and designer and one of the founders of the Distance Learning online school. We are offering a variety of mainly game dev, game design, but also web coding and tech courses. We're on the platform. We're actually a school, so everything has been sort of very carefully prepared by a rather experienced team. I will be pasting a link to the school in the chat. But having said that, Alex, would you care to introduce yourself?
Yes, so I'm Alex Papadakis. I have a company named Edge of Mythos. We publish tabletop RPGs. We've already published through Kickstarter twice, a Home Reforged and then Dream City Nights. And now we are working on, as you already know, Mythomachus, the role-playing game, our final project, together with Nerdula Creative Lab.
Excellent. And Edge of Mythos has been around for quite some time, Alex, right?
It's been 3 years. It's been 3.5 years, about that much. It's not a very old company, but we strive to make at least one project a year.
Excellent. Excellent. And since we will be talking about Mythomachus mainly, let me let people know that this is an RPG that's already made its appearance on Kickstarter. It hasn't started crowdfunding just yet. So I will also put a link in the chat for the Kickstarter page if you would like to, express your interest and be notified about this rather unique RPG, actually. And I would say that one of the things that really makes Mythomachus very unique is its universe and its art style. So would you care, maybe, Alex, to give us a brief description of both the universe and the game itself?
Awesome. Yes. So the main gist of the game is that it takes place mainly in Greece during the 1820, and it's just before the revolution of the Greeks, when they freed Greece from the Ottomans. And the main gist is that it takes a lot of inspiration from Greek folklore, from monsters that our grandmothers told us stories about, from many different parts of Greece. And it's actually a game that's based, a setting that's based on in an already established comic book, Mythomachus, that's similar to the name of our game.
Do you
That
have a
is,
copy of that?
yes, actually, I have a copy of both. It's two issues. It's both of these issues. You can see the art is already great. It's from Yannis Roumboulias, who also does the art, obviously, for the game. And he's the
And
mind behind all the ideas of Mythomachus. He and Haris Eulatos, they did the comic book together.
I will actually paste the link to the Nerdula site where the people can buy it. I think it's only available in Greek right now, the comic book. Also, having said that, actually, welcome to everyone in the chat too. I'm glad to see you all here. Glad to see that we already have someone who's a fan of the Mythomachus comic. And please feel free to ask anything during our discussion on the chat. We'll try and get to each and every question. So, question, very important question, Alex. Do you know what a fustanella is called in English? So, the thing that the Mythomachus is wearing.
Oh no, that's a
Nobody
difficult
knows.
question to start. I
I
have no
know.
idea. I haven't actually searched what a fustanella is called. I just write it as a fustanella during
Ah, fair
the
enough. It's actually a kilt-like skirt that was very common during the 17th, 18th, and 19th century, unless I'm horribly mistaken. So the back to the game itself. So we have this 19th century setting, but with all the legends and all the monsters and all those things, right? And how would you say that the game plays? Well, and also what system is it based on? I think it's 5e.
Yes, actually, the game is designed on the based on the fifth edition of Dungeons and Dragons. However, we differentiate ourselves completely from the base edition, as we have 8 different classes,
Mhm.
completely different from the base classes of Dungeons and Dragons, each with its 2 subclasses. We tried to take inspiration not only from how traditional RPGs are played, but also of how people would, well, how people lived and fought and how what their aspirations were during the 1800s.
Excellent. And how close do you actually stick to historical reality and like historical reality and historical mythology, if you want?
Actually, a lot because we try to base the stories that we tell and the mythology that we use on actual events that took place during the history of the world, not just Greece.
Mhm.
And we blend like we take events and we blend our own ideas and our own stories in that, because let's say there was a great fight but you don't know exactly what happened then, and we give things that would color the mundane reality and harsh reality of war at that time with
Mhm.
creatures and magic, and make it a bit more fantastical, more imaginative.
Excellent. And with the exception of the classes, like how close would you say it feels to a D&D adventure or campaign or something like playing it?
Well, you still use class levels, you still use your d20 to roll the skills that you're used to. However, we added a lot of skills, we took out a lot of them as well.
Hmm.
We want, again, to not feel like a generic medieval game. We wanted to feel the historical impact of your character, to feel unique in the way you approach the world,
Hmm.
and to be a fresh idea among the now hundreds of other settings that are fantastical worlds. We try to base it on history, so we have to respect that history that we follow.
So that would mean that you also have, say, rules for black powder weapons and this sort of thing.
Oh, of course, we use black powder weapons. We have different rules for combat. We blend a lot of stuff. I can't get into too much detail right now,
Hmm.
as a lot of the stuff is not completely finalized, and I don't want to bring anyone's hopes up too much about the specific system. Although what also differentiates it from basic Dungeons and Dragons and other settings or systems
Hmm.
is that we use our own magic system, because we didn't want another, as they call it, Vancian magic system with
Hmm.
class levels and spell slots and stuff like that. We have magic more freely. You can the mages, the magus, the magi, and the occultists use more magic more freely, but there is always a chance that something will go wrong. So every spell or every magic, as we call it, has its own chance of backlash, and something terrible might happen to you every time you cast a magic spell.
Okay, that's actually exciting. And I also have a very interesting question by Michael. It's like, why did you choose a theme that is not widely spread among role players? Actually, why did you choose to make Mythomachus RPG set in this specific period?
First of all, I wanted something original, something that's really hasn't been popular, and we want to make it popular. Second of all, it's very popular in Greece as well, because a lot of people know the comic book actually and are fans of the comic book. So I think we have a very good pre-established audience
Mm.
already in Greece. And third, I'm a really big fan of the comic book and of the creator of the comic book.
So, speaking of which, he's a wonderful artist and an incredibly funny writer. Right. So Yanis
He's a great guy
Boulias,
in general. I mean,
yeah, he's a great guy. And speaking of that, I have to ask you, like, what's the feeling of the game? Will it be more straight faced, more serious, or would it also exactly due to it being something that has to do with the work of Robullas? something funnier, something more lighthearted, or more surreal?
Okay, well, it takes place during war times, so it can't be really, very light on the theme.
Fair enough.
But it won't talk, it won't be a grim dark setting. We
Mhm.
don't want to go with everything is very bad, everything is very dark, everything is trying to kill you. No, we try to make it historical. Like the best idea that I can say, the best words that I can use to describe this is historical and magical.
Mhm.
It's gonna have its high moments where you kill monsters to help villages to liberate places, and it's gonna have its dark moments when actual things living in your nightmares come to life right in front of you,
An
stalking you,
example.
trying to kill you.
An example of a monster, and then I have another question for you. I mean, did you have any monster examples that you would care to share and feel confident to share?
Well, the monsters I love the most are actually the Kalikanzarai. That like it's the Greek version of goblins, but not exactly because Kalikanzarai are fiends. They're not like simple creatures. They come from another dimension, and there are many types of Kalikanzarai that we use, and there are so many stories about them that they don't have a clear purpose. So we gave them a purpose in certain aspects, but I can't say more about that. They
Fantastic.
are they are like think about them like something among gremlins, goblins, and imps, but larger and more terrifying.
So I have first of all like a nice comment like OMG Greek goblins, which is true, and I also have to pass on this question to you. So if you don't want to reveal it, that's fine. But there's a question whether you would consider or whether you already have an oracle class like a Delphi style oracle class in the game, or is it deemed too ancient to out of scope?
Okay, so we thought about that actually, but what we did is we have a skill actually that's called omens. What
Mhm.
you do is you use it to interpret certain omens that you see, certain aspects that you realize, and you use it as an oracle. But we don't have like a very specific class that's about oracles. We have the divine gaze, which is a system that the divine powers without needing to make them specific either. It's Christian gods,
Mhm.
Buddhist gods, whatever, ancient gods. It's a divine energy that gives you visions. And there are ways that you can get more powerful at that aspect.
Very cool. And another very very similar question: will it also have Vurkolakis? Which I imagine it will, but will it?
Well, obviously.
Yeah, this was the unavoidable. And in case people are wondering, Vurkolakis are just like Alexandria are the Greek goblins. Vurkolakis are the not only Greek, I would say Balkan vampires.
Vur- Vurkolakas are Greek.
Sorry. Okay. Sorry, I didn't want to. I can say anything I want about your heritage, and you cannot be insulted because I'm
there
equally
are
Greek.
like th- there have been like 20 different names for Vrukolakis since I don't know when. Like during the research, because we do a lot of research for this kind of stuff, we found like a lot of different meanings for a lot of stuff that we didn't know about.
Okay, fair enough. So another very interesting question. I love the fact that we have so many questions. So, do you have examples of how those omens are to be interpreted? Like, will things be like more specifically, more traditionally Greek, something like that?
Okay, how to explain it easily? Um, the main part of the system is that some something in the story will appear as an omen, and
Hmm.
players usually ask questions towards the GM, and he will answer depending on the role and on specific factors. It's a whole system that we designed, and I can't really explain it in a few words. To be honest, I find it really hard to explain this now.
Okay, but that's actually promising, to be honest. So since we are into the game itself, and I do hope that most people who are already listening to us do have a pretty decent idea of what this is. Can you give us a small, idea of how the creative process actually happened? I mean, where did you start, and how did you evolve the things?
Well, first of all, I am just part of the creative process. There are lots of us working on this. Fivos Kraniotakis is the lead designer, and Yannis Rouboulias is also a concept designer, since his
Mhm.
idea was with a mouse at the start. And we all work together in bringing to life the classes. That was our first thing to do.
Mhm.
We wanted to figure out who the characters are, who the players are playing as, and what would be interesting. Like, I think the first batch of classes was like 15 classes, and we started cutting down from that
Good.
because, come on, there can be expansions if we see people love it. We have
That
a lot
would
of
be
stuff,
awesome. Yeah.
but that's how the process went. Like, we started with the classes, and we had a lot of ideas. We have a lot of backlog ideas, and we saw which ones we preferred, and we put them to the front. Then, actually, the second part is Rouboulias, Yannis,
The
started
artist that is.
drawing monsters.
Mhm.
And that was also a very big help for the creative process because we started taking inspiration from the art and we created the monster blocks and what kind of monsters we wanted. I also did a lot of research. Well, we all did a lot of research, but my research was through an old professor like Nikolaos Politis, who wrote a lot of books, not a lot of books, a lot of gathered a lot of stories uh,
Mhm.
from Greek folklore. And that's also the way we created one of the most prevalent mechanics on monsters. It's called the folklore traits. And the
Mhm.
idea behind it is that when you encounter a monster, when you hear stories of a monster, there are conflicting stories. There are many different parts that do not make sense. So what we did is every monster has its folklore traits. You don't really know which of these exist, but only the GM knows. And every time you meet a monster, you don't know if this or that story is true about it. So it's
Okay.
more make your own monster chaotic. Every monster has like 6 or 7 folklore traits, so the GM can choose which to use every time you encounter it.
That's quite a brilliant idea, actually. I I I don't think I've run into anything similar. I don't know. Have you seen something a similar approach to monster design?
Um, the only similar, it's not exactly similar, but what happens is with Weissen,
Hmm.
where from Free League Publishing, where there are many different approaches to a monster. Like you have to find certain rituals to banish it. You need to find its weakness, and it also happens with our monsters as well. It's not each monster, but a lot of monsters have specific rituals that need to put them to rest. For example, Evercolagas, he can't be just killed. He's an immortal being.
You're very right. Also, I don't think you've played this because I think I've asked you before. It's completely random time. There is a very very slight similarity to the way that the monsters in Chill can be killed. But anyway, let me just go through the chat very very quickly. So, yep, this RPG is going to be lit, and then someone says that yep, Mitsu says that that's definitely an interesting mechanic. And there's also a question: will there be stat blocks with different CRs?
Of course.
Okay,
I mean, wait. They're gonna be different
I mean for
monsters.
the same monster, I imagine.
Okay, what we're planning to do is that you have the base of the monster with its statistics, and depending on the traits that you use, we have a small table that says, okay, +1 CR or
Hmm.
-1 CR, because there are also weaknesses
Okay,
in those traits.
okay. So another question. As we all know, or we should all probably know, the Greek Revolution wasn't something that happened on its own. It was like a wider Balkan and generally speaking Ottoman uprising, including everyone from like Turks and Romanians and Bulgarians and Greeks and everyone. So, will will the Mythomachus experience be playable in the wider Balkans too? I mean, can I play someone in Bucharest and
Actually, that's the main idea.
Oh,
We are
sweet.
using the setting of Greece, like we have more details about specific cities and specific event that happened in Greece. But these characters are used for everywhere at the times. Like the rules used in the system can be used for any kind of adventure you want to go throughout Europe. We were even planning, again, if it all goes all well, to have a more broad European or Balkan setting in maybe a different book at a later time.
Well,
But
if it does well,
that was the plan all along. We never aimed to only be
mhm,
contained in Greece.
that's very interesting. Because I mean, you also have all those secret societies,
I know.
Freemasons, and all the things that can make this a fascinating.
We've done a lot of research, as I told you. There's
Yeah,
going to be a lot of fun.
I can imagine. Then back to the designing of things. Is there like a specific way in which you design for D20 and like fifth edition D&D and the open?
Well, you have to be careful because you can't deviate too much since you're using an SRD.
Mm-hmm.
And we had I don't know if it's luck or unluck at the time where we have two different editions of Dungeons and Dragons, and we didn't really know if we would go for the older version or the newest version because there is 2014 and there is 2024. Two
Is there a
different.
substantial difference? I didn't bother buying the new
There are
version either.
some differences. The most substantial that affects us is the way weapons work or weapon masters work. We decided to keep that out of the game because it might complicate things too much since we have a lot of different systems. Maybe that would be, again, a bloat of rules.
Mm,
And the main differences are also in classes, but that doesn't bother us because we don't use the main classes of D&D.
fair enough.
But we had to stay with specific aspects of the text because you can't use a license if you don't correctly use the text that's included in it.
Right. Okay, that's pretty restrictive to be. I mean, it sounds to me at least very
We
much.
have to follow a certain way to do stuff,
Mm.
but after that wasn't the problem for us. Like we studied a lot, we researched a lot, we play a lot of RPGs either
Mhm.
way, so it
Mm.
wasn't hard for us, for anyone in the team.
No, and admittedly, restrictions generally help you. I mean, they help guide your productivity and your creativity towards something faster. And question, like, do you consider playtesting a key part of the development of the rule set and the adventures and the classes?
We've actually playtested a lot, and there's actually a quick start guide that's already out like a week ago.
Should
And
I link to it?
uh, you should actually, and I can show you a few pages if you'd like.
Sure, sure. So,
Share the screen.
Nikos, we can share Alex's screen if you want, and I'll paste the link in the chat so you can actually download the quick start from there while we're waiting for Nikos to share the screen. And I think people can look at it now.
Excellent. So yeah, this is like Mythomachus role-playing game, the quick start guide, and what
And
we
you can see
did
the art
is we
also.
have.
It's very interesting. Sorry, go back and so that people can look at the main character who is very, very telling of both the art style and the theme and style and overall atmosphere of the game.
Well, it gives a pretty good idea. Like you
Yeah,
see the
yeah,
fustanella and the sword and
yeah.
everything.
And the fustanella is this white skirt that this guy is wearing.
Yeah. So, a few words about this. We have like a quick introduction of both origins because we don't have races like D&D. We have origins. It means where you're from. Either you're from the mountains, where you grew up in the fields, in a big city, in a small city. Everything about that. Backgrounds is the typical backgrounds of Dungeons and Dragons with small twist. And then it's our classes. Actually, let me show you a bit. I'll just stop a bit at the art. And
Yeah, the art is very good.
here we go.
And it's all done by Rubullas.
Yes, everything.
Everything.
He's our sole artist. He works day and night for this.
And I really like the fact that you are using like Greek words to describe those
Well, actually,
races,
at
classes.
first we didn't. We
No, it
used
works.
words, but we felt like it loses a bit of the feeling of the Greek setting.
Mm-hmm.
In specific places like this, like the backgrounds, because it would be more complex, we use the English words, so it would be more relatable. And our classes then are like we have. It's no problem to show you. Like we have the charlatan, who's like the more social class that's trying to con everyone away. Like maybe they think that's more like bard, but not actually. The enforcer, who's like a very powerful soldier with guns and swords at the same time. The Crypt Hounds, who are explorers. This was actually like our first inspiration for the Crypt Hound was Indiana Jones. So
Okay.
we kept that the Crypt Hound is like proficient in this weapon, this weapon, this one, and the whip. Just because we wanted to have a little note to Indiana Jones.
So let me just allow me a small parenthesis here. I mean, I do get this feeling that there is going to be a nice pulpy side to it.
It does have a pulpy side, but it's not. It won't be funny. Like
That's fine. Pulp doesn't have to be funny. Okay.
Magus, the Archon. Actually, funny story. The Archon used to be a class that was called Mythomachus. So he would be the Mythomachus and everybody else would be another class. But we decided that that won't be a good idea. So now to have only one class to be like Mythomachus, like the same thing Jedis were in the Star Wars universe. So the Archon is now a fighter that was, has like chosen by powerful deities. And now actually everyone has the option to become Mythomachus, not relating to its class.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Do you have any more questions? Or should I just keep scrolling?
So, and I just want to let you know that Nilmeira, I hope I'm not butchering your nickname, is really excited about this, and Mythos has already chosen to become an Norinos because he goes for the win. Alex is from Crete, so yeah, we've covered the whole country. So again, question. I mean, we're looking at this adventure, which again I've posted the link to. People can download it. I'll be posting it again towards the end. But generally speaking, like what type of adventures did the team have in mind when designing it? Like what would? And yeah, don't scroll too fast. Maybe people would be able to just do it a bit slower. But again, everyone you can download it. But like what type of adventure, like what type of RPG experience did you have in mind?
Okay.
When you were designing this, like close to the comic books?
The Adventures of Mythomachus should be about half part hunting and killing monsters, and half part of investigating. So each time you encounter a problem that's related to a monster, every monster has their own clues and their own ways of trying to discover what kind of monster it is and how do you get rid of it. Because simply killing a monster, most of the times will, like in the best case scenario, you will banish it and it will come back at a later time. Worst case scenario, he will be alive and on its feet like 2 hours later and hunting for your soul. And actually, we've made two different scenarios at the moment. One comes along with a quick start guide. One will be in the final product for now, and we'll be designing one more adventure. The one coming with the quick start guide is about the island of Santorini and a plague that's been going on around there, and the players have to find the source of the plague and get rid of it. in short. I won't say what kind of monster it is and what kind of process they will have to follow, because that's a major spoiler for those who want to play.
Fair enough.
And the other adventure is a smaller scale adventure that's going to be with the final product, a first level, very introductory adventure that is actually around Christmas time, and it has a Christmas theme, because some monsters in Greece only come out in Christmas.
Fair enough. True that. I really like this approach. And do you? I don't know, because I mean, whenever I'm looking people dressed up like that, like the Mythomachus himself, I sort of, in a very Pavlovian way, I tend to think about specific types of food. So, and music actually.
Okay.
So the question is have you in some way integrated the traditional cuisine and music into the thing, or will you at least give suggestions regarding
Well, we
Gournopoulos
have
and
characters going on around with a bouzouki on their hand, like trying to play music, and the feeling of the feeling that we try to give in the adventure that's already accompanying the quick start guide does have a certain feeling. Like the players will meet an old woman that will read you your coffee in order to give you stuff about study your coffee. Sorry, about your future. There's gonna be like big cobblestone streets that. Okay, you want what? How you will most people understand it. We want, like, for this specific adventure, when you read this adventure, to smell the sea air.
Nice.
Hear the seagulls flying above your head.
Nice.
And everything will be dark because monsters.
Awesome. Quick question, not directly related. It's like if people play the introductory adventure, where can they share reviews and feedback? Did you have any specific suggestions for that? Just an email? Is there a public forum where they can do that?
Everyone could really message or post and tag in Edge of Mythos. We are on X, we are on Facebook, we are on Instagram.
You're not on Blue Sky yet.
No, I'm not on Blue Sky yet.
You
I
should.
haven't doubled into Blue Sky yet.
Yeah, no. It's the same as Twitter. Don't worry, but really better, and without all the baggage. Very quickly on to the production side of things, if you want. So let's say that you have an idea, you've come up with a few classes, you have an art style, you have all those things. How do you go and turn this into a book? And I mean, already the quick start has this polished quality feel to it. So how difficult is it to get to this stage? And what would the steps be?
So, apart from the team I already told you about, our great graphic designer George is like working very well to how to create specific or to find actually specific fonts, specific styles to use inside the book. They've been working with Yanis for a long time, so they know each other's art and each other's style. So what we did is actually, but the problem is that he had no clue about role-playing game books. So I had to work very closely with them, with George especially, to tell him, okay, this needs to be like this needs to be like this. So what I did is, like, I create mock-ups of how I think everything should be. I give them examples from other games, from other books that are already published and very successful. And we work from that together. We go back and forth all the time. And it's a process that takes time. But I believe the end result shows itself. Like, the hard work that's been done on this product, you can really see it even on our quick start guide.
Yeah, and can you also show, since we're screen sharing, can you show the character sheet?
Obviously, yes. I have something right here. This is the character sheet.
Yeah, maybe zoom out a bit. Okay, no, it's fine.
I think this is the best.
Yeah.
So we use, this is not final, obviously. We're still far away from final, but we use a lot of the ideas behind the traditional D&D character sheet. So you will find like things that you're expecting at the places that should be: proficiency bonuses, saving throws, skills, etc., and the ability scores. But we gave it our own flair, let's say.
Mhm.
Colors. This is all George, by the way. Like, he did everything very well.
Nice.
And it's a 2-page character sheet, actually, because every character has the option to stay mortal, following a certain path and gaining bonuses that are 90% roleplay heavy. The milestones and the bonuses. Like, for example, let me zoom in a lot here. This is the Path of Glory.
Okay.
Your first milestone is to succeed in a public challenge in a way that makes you the center of all conversation in the region. And the reward from that point on is that every settlement you help, you always find free shelter and food.
Oh, that's fantastic. Do you have like several of those?
At the Quick Start Guide, we've only shared 3, but we have over 10 at the moment, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
We'll see if we're going to cut some edges right in there, but we'll see. The other idea is that when you kill your first monster, you can choose to drain its essence, which instantly makes you a Mythomachus. You are pretty much like Highlander, if you know it. We are a Witcher / Highlander, where you store essence that you drain from monsters when you deal the killing blow. And the more essence you store, the higher you go, and the more abilities that you unlock. However, if you ever kill another Mythomachus, you immediately go to Tainted, and you never go back. And you're like a corrupted form of Mythomachus. Like, you're very powerful, but you are corrupted, and you need to kill other Mythomachus and not monsters in order to stay alive, in order to stay immortal forever. And you become evil, technically. It's not actually playable for very long to become Tainted. It's like the ultimate hubris of a Mythomachus.
Fair enough. Question, like, why would you choose not to absorb the thing's essence?
Because
I mean, is it like you either get the experience points or the essence? Is it something like that?
No. It's like, first of all, you can only do it the first time you kill a monster.
Okay.
It's like, again, like Highlander, the quickening, if you're familiar with it. If you do it afterwards, no essence will be drawn to you. Second, you get different bonuses with your path, the Path of Glory, for example, here, with the 3 milestones that you choose that are very powerful and very flavorful. And you do not want to become immortal. Like, you want to stay immortal and leave a legacy as a hero. The idea was that you make this, like, being a Mythomachus is that you immortalize your body, and staying immortal, you immortalize your legacy. You create a legend around your name.
That's interesting, and that could lead to an interesting meta game too. I mean, I don't know, but I'm not exactly certain as to how.
We were planning at first to create like a campaign that would span ages, so other players would still be the same character, and others will be like descendants of your previous characters, like holding the legacy of your ancestors. But production would be chaos at the moment. Let's create our first book, and we'll see where we go from there.
So I mean, the plan is to get the core book out, and this will have everything you need to play within it. Like, you don't need anything else. Correct. I mean, and then take it from there and expand upon it.
There was even an idea of a different system, but production would be hell at the moment if we spread out too much.
Besides 5th edition?
Yes, we were thinking a Year Zero engine. We had announced that at first, but we retracted on that because it would be too difficult and too expensive, actually, to do 2 systems at once. So we decided to take it slowly, make something that's as polished as possible, and delivered as fast as possible, because we've already made like 80% of the stuff. It's like a lot of it is already ready to play.
So how large would you say the final book will be, roughly?
We are expecting around 300 pages, 300,
Okay,
350.
that's
Like a full book.
that's large. That's large. And you've decided to take it to Kickstarter. I mean, I've already mentioned it. I'll be putting the link in. So, I mean, besides the obvious answer that it's okay, it's a way to fund the first printing and everything. Does it complicate things? Does it? How does it go
Well,
for you?
the process is like, since I was going to publish it in my company, not give the design to someone else to publish it. The process is pretty much the same, apart from the runaround you need to do, advertising, marketing, and stuff like that. Like that's the hardest part for me, to be honest.
Yeah.
Marketing, and I see that in a lot of creators. Like there's a big difficulty in knowing how to market your own game. We love making games, we don't know how to sell them.
Yeah, this is a major problem for everyone, and sometimes even people who are into marketing are not certain as to how exactly to approach crowds, to approach interested people. You know, these things are tricky, and they're always a bit down to luck. So sadly, yeah, not much we can do. And again, you know, as you're still sharing your screen, maybe we could also take a look at some of the artwork, perhaps, that you could share.
Give me a moment. I can show you. Where is it? No. Here we are. Okay, so some of the classes. These are actually the pre-made characters for the Quick Start adventure. Small story that everyone will have, and a detailed description of all the abilities they have because of their level, because it's going to be a level 5 adventure. So, sorry, I'm going too fast.
I mean that, yeah, you're going too fast, but also I like the names, and I mean especially, you know, there are names that come with cultural significance, I would say.
Yes, but we didn't want the names to be all Greek, so there will be other characters as well, like not from Greece. I would just
That
stop
wouldn't
on
be
that.
Ariadne. Yep.
There's also Aileen, for example.
Yep. She's from Asia Minor, right?
Yeah. Oh no, actually, she's from
No,
Ankara.
she's actually in Ankara.
Yeah, she's Ankara. And a lot of spells, so Aileen takes a lot of more pages. This is Gregor from the Carpathian.
Where's he from?
Carpathian.
Romania, right.
He's an occultist. He's part of the Order of Silence.
Do they speak or not? Or are they just like really, really?
Let's just keep a bit, because too many details for Gregor.
Yeah.
This is Iasonas.
He's Irish.
He's not Irish. He's Greek, but he's a charlatan.
Yeah,
He likes the Irish look. He
well,
can be whoever he wants to be. He disguises all the time.
awesome.
That's the idea. And Dionysius from Ithaca. And Christos, but we don't have the artwork for that yet. He's gonna be our Archon.
Awesome. And I'm sorry, what do you call the game master, DM, storyteller? What do you call them? Just DM?
We call it DM just for the sake of it being D&D, to be honest.
Fair enough. Do you have any dungeons? Actual dungeons?
Oh, no.
It would be odd. I mean, you could have...
There might be prison dungeons, but that's a different type of dungeon.
Yeah. I imagine that, you know, you could visit, you know, a place like, you know...
there are caves, there are...
the Minoan labyrinth in Crete or something, but it might be too tacky to do so.
Actually, we do have, like, you could call it a dungeon, because parallel to our world is the other world, which is where the creatures of fairy tale, or some creatures of fairy tale, live. And when you visit that place, you might find more whimsical kind of dungeons, things that wouldn't quite make sense in our world.
And
for
there's
example,
also this...
to the places where Kalikanzara live, there are like...
Okay.
different cavern systems and creatures that live there, and there's gold, obviously.
And speaking of cavern systems, I mean, actually, there's this suggestion from the chat. You could have Davelis dungeon, like not dungeon, the cave system in
That's a very good idea.
somewhere. Where is that? It's
I remember.
somewhere around Athens.
Google it.
And this guy was a famous robber apparently who was hiding in those caves for years, and that is like very interesting. And I mean, I would like to know. I mean, how easy would it be for the whole team to sort of take this type of idea and sort of weave it within the world of Mythomachus?
I didn't get the question. Excuse me.
I mean, as in, let's say you have an idea. Good, I'll make an adventure for Davelis dungeon, and or an expansion for this island with this type of lore. I mean, how easy is it to take something like that, like a core of an idea, and sort of turn it into a Mythomachus supplement or module? Whether it's a it's
I
a
can't say
city,
it will be difficult, since we have like every creature will have like a small box that says, okay, this story could be found here and here and here. So we will give more details on how to get inspiration, as well as how to use the monsters included in the game. Because, for example, like a different example, like there's the legend of Drosoulites, which are shadows that you find in South Crete. And there's like a myth about them being ghost fighters, something like the Lord of the Rings, Army of the Dead. Well,
okay,
we actually have that in the game.
that's very cool.
We made
So,
that in the game.
question: I mean, do we want to share anything else, or should we stop with the screen sharing? Do you have something else you would like us to see?
I would just like to show you one last creature.
Sure.
I would like to show you. Oh,
Ooh, what's that?
that's a Kalkanzaros. That's actually Mandrakoulos.
Okay.
Mandrakoulos, sorry. He is the one of the Kalkanzare kings.
Okay, this is awesome. But
we wanted to, like he has one wooden leg. He's a sorcerer, so we wanted him to have a staff.
Okay. He's wonderful, but also scary. And I say that because I was you wanted, yeah, right? Because I mean, I was considering whether it might be worth attempting to play it with my daughter, but probably no.
It might give her nightmares, I would say.
Yeah, it will. It probably will. So I'd rather avoid it. But no, it's the art is fantastic. So I mean, in order to come up with something like that I mean, you would either research something that sounds very cool, like an idea, a narrative concept for an enemy, for example, and give it to Yanis, so he would then come up with an illustration, and vice versa. So perhaps
vice versa, yes.
Right. So you have like you combine your inspirations from Yanis's imagination, the imagination of the rest of the team, and actual folklore and everything sort of. Okay, that is quite wonderful and intimidating. So he's a wizard, you say, right?
Yeah, he plays with shadow a lot. He works. He summons other goblins. It's goblins, not goblins. I got carried away. Kalkanzara, he's like a trickster. Think of him like a minor trickster deity.
Right.
But he's also, a monster, and he can be banished. He's not immortal.
Okay. Excellent. So, do you have any idea of when the Kickstarter is going to?
31st of March, actually.
Oh, it's actually decided.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you have a very
31st of March.
Okay, you have a very good idea. Okay, fantastic. And what would the last steps, besides marketing and trying to push the thing and get people to know about it?
We actually have an event coming up this Sunday in a local place called Game In Piraeus, where there will be different GMs playing the game. And we aim, if it goes well, like we are fully booked right now, but everyone can, like if anyone is hearing right now, can come and see and look at it. It's going to be on the 8th of February.
I remind you, this is a place in Piraeus, just.
And there will be other occasions probably until our launch where we will be showing Mythomachus, making presentations, and hopefully playing the game. If there is any interest, we might host games online as well.
Okay, that's a good idea. You're not considering sort of creating like this lovely feast where there's like people roasting stuff and playing traditional music and playing the thing while being dressed up in their grandfather's
That
you know
would be an idea.
scary and things. And okay, no, okay, that's fine. So I'm trying to think. I think that I've covered all the things that I wanted to ask you, to be honest. And I have to admit that I already love the idea of Mythomachus, and I really hope that it does well. And while people perhaps think of any final questions, is there something that you would like to add, Alex?
I just hope that with Mythomachus we reach as many people as possible because
Hmm.
I believe our culture, Greece's culture and fairy folklore and fairy tales is very rich and very different. Like it does have a lot of inspiration and a lot of similarities actually with Balkan folklore, but I
Hmm.
believe we have very, very diverse folklore because Greece is a very, very diverse country. We have islands, we have mountain ranges, and because of that, there are many different creatures that I'd like everyone to enjoy and visit.
Yeah, and there are many spooky tales. I mean, I was
Yes.
actually exposed to them. I had like my wife's grandmother once tried to convince me to go to church, and in order to do so, she used all the scary tales she knew to sort of push me there, which was quite fascinating actually. There's lots to draw from, and with a by expanding it into the wider, effectively Ottoman world, or like the European Ottoman side of the world, you have a large area that's even more diverse and even richer to draw from. We I wanted to mention it before that the first romantic vampire by Polidori actually appeared in a tale that took place in Mykonos, which is very weird if you think about it nowadays. But
It's not very weird, actually. Mykonos and Santorini were very popular about vampires.
yeah, yeah, and they were also very poor and very sparsely inhabited, which is also very interesting.
A fun fact is that there were tales of vampires in Santorini because of how the earth didn't
Shook.
destroy the bodies because of the volcano.
Ah,
So
okay.
both were decomposing very fast. Vampires, of course.
Obviously.
Obviously, vampires.
Sorry, wait. Yeah, Mitchell says, "What Silent Hill? We're talking grandma stories here, and they're macabre to the max." And yes, he too knows from experience. Because
That's the best part.
yeah, my grandfather.
Literally, when I need to have an idea for an adventure from with mouse, I'll just ask my grandmother for a tale, and she will tell me
Yeah,
something terrifying.
no, sadly, my grandparents were secular, and they had no tales of the sort, which is very interesting also, and quite a rarity. So again, Alex, thanks everyone for being here. That was actually fascinating and mouthwatering, and really looking forward to playing Mythomachus as soon as possible. And again, everyone else, thank you for being here, and thank you for your questions. And if there are any last questions, I imagine that this would be the time for you to ask them. I will link one more time to the Mythomachus Quick Start PDF. If you played, and either use the socials for your feedback, or okay, now I posted it from my own um, link. Let me just use the D6 Learning link. Okay, here it is. Again, you can mail Alex, you can mail Edge of Mythos, or you can post on your socials. Like, any feedback, I imagine, will be very, very useful. And again, thanks everyone. I think that we are more or less done. So, good night, good evening.
And from me, thank you very much for having the opportunity to talk with you tonight, and thanks everyone for listening.
Yeah, we love talking with you, all of us here. So, again, good night, good evening, good morning, whatever your time zone is, and hope to see you, in one of our forthcoming events too. And do drop by the Mythomachus Kickstarter, have a look, register your interest if that's your sort of thing, and let's wish Alex, the best of luck. So.